Hey, what's going on, all y'all? Today I want to talk about a concept called unit rate. Okay. First off, let's talk about this vocabulary word, rate. Rate means how something's happening. How fast it's going. How many things are in a bottle, just in one. The key here, though, is this other word right here, unit. Now, unit means, let's say, in this case, that unit means the number 1, all right? So, let's talk about some things that are in unit rates, okay? When you talk about speeds, and you see highway signs that say things like speed limit 70 miles per hour, okay? That means 70 miles in 1 hour, all right? In other words, you don't say speed in something like she went 15 miles in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? That's a little confusing because then you have to divide, down and find out that she went 3 miles in 1 minute. You know what I mean? So her rate would be 3 miles per minute or 180 miles per hour after you multiply up. All right, it's a little bit confusing if you don't give rates, how fast things are happening in terms of one thing. Okay, take another look. Now, if you went in for a job and they said, okay, well, if you work 3 hours, then you'll make $30. That's not normally how wages are explained to you when you take a job. Usually they say something like, you'll make so many dollars for every hour you work. And then all you need to do is multiply up by how long your shift is and say, okay, well, if I work a 6-hour shift and my rate is $10 per hour, well, then I just multiply 6 times 10 and say, okay, for every hour I get $10. So that's 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. You say, okay, well, I made $60. And then, of course, they take your taxes away. All right, another way that, compensation is given to you is in, say, a salary where they tell you you'll make so many dollars per year. So in 1 year, they say you'll make this many dollars. Okay? Now, if you're doing that for dollars per hour, you'd say, okay, well, I work this many hours per day and this many days per week and this many weeks per year. So you could calculate a dollars per year using this. And all you need to do is start with your unit rate and then multiply out. All right, another thing that's given in a unit rate, and believe me, there's almost endless things that are given in unit rates that are really important, is something like how fast water is flowing. This may be so many gallons per minute. The gas pump at the gas station has a flow rate. It pumps so many gallons in a minute. You could time it. I actually am not sure what the standard gallons per minute flow rate is, but of course it's much more convenient to give it in a unit rate. Now, other things are sold at a unit rate. Let's say that you buy a box of tissues, and for every box of tissues in one box, you get 125 tissues. So you know that if you bought 3 boxes, you'd get 3 times 125 is 375 tissues. Okay? And you'd set that up. What we're going to do here on the examples in a second would be, you'd set it up and say, okay, in one box there's 125, so in 3 boxes. Alright, and all you do is scale this up by a scale factor. K equals 3. So you'd say 1 times 3 is 3, 125 times 3 is 375 each. So it's real easy. And then, of course, you know that scale factors work both ways. If you multiply this way, then you would divide this way. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 375 divided by 3 is 125. And we'll work that out here in a second. Okay. So here's a couple examples. Let's do this easy one over here. That's the same way because we've already got it set up. All right, so let's say that a a person went on a trip and they traveled 210 miles, and the trip took them 3.5 hours. Okay? So, what we want to find out is what is their unit rate right here? How many miles, x, are they traveling in 1 hour? All right? So, of course, like any other unit rate problem, you're going to solve this with a scale factor k. All right? Okay, so in this case, k is going to be real easy, 3.5. All right? And since you're going large to this, you're going to divide 3.5 divided by 3.5. All right, is equal to 1. All right, so now we're going to do it on this way. We've got 210 divided by 3. Keep putting an extra loop on my 3's this morning. 3.5. All right. First thing, we're going to move the decimal point over 1. Give ourselves an extra 0 here. And now we'll start dividing. 35 into 210, I think, is probably about 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30, 18, 21. Oh, look at that. Did I do that right? Because I just guessed. 6 times 5 is 30. 0, carry the 3. 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20, 21. Yep, 21. Okay, so that actually works out. Bring down the 0. 0 times 0 times. Okay, so that tells us that x is equal to 60. So, she went on a trip, 210 miles, 3.5 hours. That means that she traveled at an average rate, or a constant rate, of 60 miles for every 1 hour, or her speed was 60 miles per hour. Alright, real simple. Now, let's talk about this problem right here. Let's say that you're going to the store and you buy, let's say, 3 pounds of apples, and you buy 2 pounds of pears, I guess, right? Yeah, pears. Okay. So you bought 3 pounds of apples, 2 pounds of pears. How much did you spend? Well, this is really easy because you already have the unit rates right here. You already know how much you spent for each pound, so then you just need to multiply up. Okay? Now, you can look at this problem like this. You can say 0.79 over 1 equals x, we don't know how much we spent on apples, over 3 pounds, okay? 79 cents for 1 pound is how much for 3 pounds? Well, you see that the scale factor right here is 3, right? 1 times 3 is 3. Another extra loop. That's really weird. So 79 times 3 is x. So that tells us that x is equal to 79 times 3. Okay. 9 times 3 is 27. 21, 22, 23. 2, 3. I have 2 decimal points up here, so I need 2 down here. So they spent $2.37 on apples. Okay. And let's figure out pears. Okay, so I've got 1.56 for 1 pound is equal to x for 2 pounds. All right. Using a different x down here, I'll call this x2 and this x1. Okay. Scale factor right here is 2 times 2. So 156 times 2 is equal to x. x2 is equal to 1.56 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 156 times 2 is 312. Okay. So how much did I spend on 5 pounds of fruit, 3 pounds of apples, 2 pounds of pears? I'm just going to add up 312 and 237 and find my answer. 2.37, 3.12. 794.5. All right, altogether I spent 549. Okay, that's a quick explanation of unit rates. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.